What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone is healthy and well today. Welcome, all my new supporters. Now, this topic is ridiculous. Once again, we are back reacting to this nonsense. You can't make this up. Now, this was highly recommended. Today, we'll be reacting to Trump's rep in Ottawa. Doesn't understand why Canadians are so upset with the U.S. And in my mind, I'm like, again? This was recommended. So here it is. I had to check the date because I'm like, nah, we already reacted to this. So I really did skip over the video. You know, I really should have reacted to this maybe like 2 days ago. This video was 4 days. It was 4 days ago. We're only 4 days late. So that means he's back on the BS again? Oh my gosh. It doesn't get old. I seriously thought that, you know, we already reacted to this. Original video link will be down below in the description. You can't make this up.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada is once again airing his country's...
Once again. You see what I'm saying? Bro, I knew it wasn't just me.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada is once again airing his country's frustration and disappointment with Canada. This is the two countries prepared to embark on a big review of...
And stop speaking on our behalf. It's about our countries. And yeah, I don't like that he be speaking on our behalf. He need to just speak on his behalf, you know? I'm tired of that. Ain't nobody speaking for me. I'm tired of that. I don't even care who you represent, what you represent in the country. None of that. Ain't nobody speaking for me.
With Canada. This is the two countries prepared to embark on a big review of their key trade deal. Now, one of those frustrations is the Canadian bans on American alcohol, but when asked by Radio-Canada if removing those bans would lead to a loosening of tariffs, Pete Hoekstra said this.
No, I mean, we think the...
Why you say it like that? I already seen it coming. No, you got to know who you're dealing with, man. They want the leverage. You know, just because you lower your standards. Oh, you see, look, they lowered their standards. They're definitely going to give up their country. You see what I'm saying? Like, any little let up, that's like their motivation to have more faith towards the impossible. It's something that'll never happen, you know? Man. Oh,
tariffs, man. Pete Hoekstra said this.
No, I mean, we think the alcohol ban is totally unfair. It's a clear indicator of how 11 provinces feel about trade with the United States. You know, they're sending a very, very clear message about how doing business with the United States doesn't appeal to them. The Prime Minister has reinforced that message, okay? And so it creates some questions about, you know, does Canada really want to do business with the United States?
No. No. What? What? Nobody told him? He must be living under a rock. Nobody told him? Out of everybody, how he ain't get the news? They not messing with us. I mean, it's like, it's mutual. You know, Mark Carney's trying to keep something together because the history we had, he doesn't want to be the PM to totally break it up. You know, we got history. He's trying to keep somewhat of it, despite everything going on. You know, he's trying to keep his cool. He could have broke away fully, you know, because he's finding other people as replacements, but he's still finding a way to need the U.S., you know. I don't see how he can make such a statement, and that just blew my mind. I'm not even gonna rant on it. That just blew my mind. Seriously, like.
Okay, and so it creates some questions about, you know, does Canada really want to do business with the United States?
The U.S. ambassador then went on to say he still doesn't understand why Canadians could be so frustrated by Donald Trump's tariffs.
You've got folks who are doing everything they can to
Where is Pete living? Where's Pete living at? He must not be living in the U.S. Where's Pete living? Where's Pete living? Please, somebody tell me. I don't even feel like looking at. Where's Pete living, man? I feel weird looking at. Where does Pete Hoekstra live? You know, I feel like the U.S., right? You know, it's really like sarcasm. You know, Yet, what, you ain't getting affected by the tariffs? at all? You don't notice nothing changing? You don't notice anything changing?
Who are doing everything they can to get the Canadian public to rally against America.
Canadians could be so frustrated by Donald Trump's tariffs.
You've got folks who are doing everything they can to get the Canadian public to rally against America.
We mean doing everything they can, getting everybody. There's no need to do none of that. The U.S. has did the damage itself. The president, the government, the Congress, everybody has did the damage. They have played their part, and what you do, comes back to you. What's done comes back, and this is just the karma. How are we still clueless to the fact of that? Are we? Whoa! He really doesn't get it. He really doesn't get it. I understand now. This man right here cannot say anything bad about Trump. He can't say nothing. He can't say nothing bad about Trump. Man, I'm unemployed. Play. Pete will be unemployed so fast, bro.
Folks who are doing everything they can to get the Canadian public to rally against America.
You don't got to get nobody to rally against America.
But do you understand where that frustration is coming from?
Absolutely no.
You don't have to
In
convince
Canada,
nobody to be against us. I'm sorry. What is he talking about? You ain't gotta convince. You ain't gotta do none of that.
Against America. Just doesn't make any sense.
But do you understand where that frustration is coming
Absolutely
from?
no.
In Canada, because
No.
a lot of Canadians are saying, well, we didn't do anything wrong, and suddenly Donald Trump, put tariffs on us.
We put tariffs on everybody in the world.
Okay, the interview there.
See, that's the problem, and he said that with a smile. That's the problem right there. Stop doing it the old-fashioned way. I understand you like it; it's easy, but that's the problem. It's too easy. You need something more complex. You need to actually communicate with your peoples and stuff. They could throw tariffs right back on us. And did. Straight up threw tariffs right back on us, bro. Like we ain't special.
Tariffs on everybody in the world.
Everybody in the world.
Okay, the interview there by Radio Canada's Laurence Martin. Rob, what do you make of that?
Look, I actually believe that Pete Hoekstra was, we know he was the chair of the Intelligence Committee in the Congress of the United States. Mm-hmm. He's not an insult. I mean, he's an insult engine and not a diplomat, but he's not dumb. But so I don't believe him when he says, I don't understand why Canadians are upset. But if I take him at his word, I'll help. Because that's the kind of guy I am. I give and I give and I give.
So I went to you first.
We have a deal with the United States. It was negotiated by Donald Trump. It was called the best deal ever. And it was signed by Mr. Trump. It was lauded by
I do remember that deal.
President Trump. It was bereft of tariffs. And now we have tariffs. In terms of the anger about booze, he suggested that it was fomented by Canadian leaders. I don't believe that's true. Again, the reason why we saw in my lifetime the biggest shift in political vote over a small period of time was because the Canadian electorate perceived a real threat to their security, prosperity, their independence, and they moved on their own. They stampeded. Nobody organized them in any sort of way that I could measure.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's in some ways refreshing. We know where we stand with Mr. Hoekstra. He pretends sometimes to be as sharp as a bowling ball. I don't believe he is.
Okay.
Wait a minute. That was crazy. That was crazy. Wait, was that like a... Wait, that was crazy. If I'm like... I gotta wrap my mind around that. Basically giving him like a false compliment of how he feels he is, but realistically, it's like a metaphor. because he's not really that. Sharp. How can you be as sharp as a sphere, bro? A bowling ball. Wait, that was crazy wordplay just now. If that was what he was basically trying to, that was crazy wordplay. I'm not gonna lie. That was nice. That was solid. Let me hear that one more time.
I think it's in some ways refreshing. We know where we stand with Mr. Hoekstra. He pretends sometimes to be as sharp as a bowling ball. I don't believe he is.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody please let me know in the comments. The way he articulated that, it was nice. Let me know, please.
Okay, Kate, I was checking with AI. We do, in fact, have a deal, and it was negotiated by Trump, and it was free of tariffs. So Rob's theory checks out. What do you make of it?
Oh, so you breaking contracts now. So now we're not owning up the contract. Wait, I mean, I've been the case. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So we could just break the rules in any contract. I noticed the U.S. really be doing that. Whenever they feel like it. And there don't be no consequences. No consequences? I don't know. It'd be crazy. A lot of stories I've heard.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the unpredictability of the United States, and I think that conversation with the ambassador makes it pretty clear what we are dealing with. I took note of the fact that tariffs have been applied across the board. No one is getting special treatment, and Canadians should not necessarily expect the same, even though, we have a deal that has been working well for both sides of that deal. I was more interested in the comments that Hoekstra made relative to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Mexico begins their negotiation with the United States this week, and Canada is not at the table in the same way. So we may well be frustrated by the tone and the approach of the Americans with the United States to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Mexico begins their negotiation with the United States this week, and Canada is not at the table in the same way. So we may well be frustrated by the tone and the approach of the Americans, and in fairness to Canadians, it's the U.S. that started this trade war. But it was the Prime Minister that said we have to deal with the world as it is. Mm-hmm. This is the world as it is. So what is Canada meaningfully doing to advance our interests in this time rather than griping from the sidelines?
Vandana, I like Kate, the Mexico comment jumped out at me, but it feels like that's what Hoekstra wants out there, right? That why can't you be more like Mexico, Canada, and drop the booze bans and just play nice? It seems like that would be the U.S. position here, right?
Yes, why can't we be more compliant? I think that's eventually what they're thinking of. He's a very unconventional diplomat, whereas most diplomats speak to the country they're supposed to be in to help advance relationships. Whereas it sounds like he's just speaking back to the White House, right? And, I think what they want is they don't understand that we have terrorists, we're going to do this, but anytime Canada fights back, don't do that. We don't like that. So I think the best thing for us to do is continue to stand our ground. I think in the midterms, you're going to see some repercussions across the board. I think definitely with states that depend a lot with their trade with Canada, they're going to feel it. And I think the administration will feel it. But I think all of this, the more I hear them speaking, the more I actually think they are getting a bit nervous with how Canada is holding out. And I think it's because it's best for us to hold out to show that, your economy can hurt as much as ours can.
See? Told you. And that is true. U.S. thinking you a big dog, you holding it all down, you are the prize and everything. But you didn't really realize that Canada kept us going as well. They kept us stable. They kept us flowing. Until it's too late. Until it's too late. Until it's too late. And then when you finally miss them and you think, you want that relationship back, basically. You're chasing the relationship. Let's regain. Let's work. Is it because you genuinely want to, or is it because you want what you used to have? Because Canada's no longer looking for the perks within our country. They just want honesty, loyalty, fair business. Pretty sure they can handle the rest. The U.S. is, oh my goodness, straight up looking for money.
because it's best for us to hold out to show that, your economy can hurt as much as ours can. But I think the Canadian sentiment really is that they're okay with this fight right now. Like, yes, Canadians are hurting. There's a lot of people out there who are being deeply affected by this. But I don't think they want the government to comply. I think they want Canada to fight for our perspective, to make sure that our economy is strong too. And, I think, Pete Hoekstra is just always going to just say exactly what the White House wants him to say, but I don't see him trying to advance a more stronger bilateral relationship.
All right, Brad, you're going to get the last word. 90 seconds to you, sir.
Oh, never tell me how much time I have, David. Danger.
We're going to put the clock on the screen.
Go ahead. It's interesting. Like, be more like the third partner in this CUSMA, who's given in the most. Be more like that. That's basically what he's saying about, we like the way Mexico is doing it because they're getting rid of irritants faster than we gave up on our counter tariffs right away. We gave up on our digital sales tax right away. The other irritant, of course, is procurement. Procurement is interesting because he says, we don't want your cars. Okay, if you don't want our cars, then we don't want your booze. We don't want to travel down to the United States for a vacation or events like that. Those are things I think that they keep raising.
Like, what's up, bro? I think he's forgetting he made that statement. We don't want your cars. You forgot you made that statement, huh? You forgot you made that statement. There's so many statements you made. I think that he, really forgot about them, and they're stuck with people for life. For life. And I feel like, do you think it was done on purpose? Like, this is what they really wanted, the U.S.? Or do you think it was like a plan, a tactic, something like maybe a manipulation tactic? Manipulation tactic to basically make Canada jealous or to make you guys scared, Hit you guys with no, not jealous. Excuse me, make you guys scared. Or I guess possibly jealous, because what if you see how the U.S. is getting along with Mexico better and this and that? They're not really like so hostile with the other countries they're targeting. So maybe I could say jealous as well. We're going to hit you with tariffs. We're going to shut down this project. We don't want your vehicles. We don't want to trade this. We don't want this and that. What was that for? To be spiteful? To make them jealous? To make them scared? To intimidate? To make them want to be like, okay, give in? To make them give in? Or did you like truly mean that? Like, no, we're taking this away. We're done with them. This and that, And if it was what I just said before, your plan, I guess, to manipulate Canada into giving in, it didn't work. It didn't work. So do you guys think it was like a plan and it failed miserably? Or do you think that's how they really felt? Because nobody could be delusional. Nobody could be so delusional as to all the stuff that Canada's done for us. Nobody can be delusional to those facts like that, right? At all. The history, it speaks for itself. It's written down. It's recorded. It's dated back to this time. There's proof. There's nothing that nobody can say. I'm like, man, like, let me know in the comments what you think, huh?
The United States for a vacation or events like that. Those are things I think that they keep raising, which tells me that those are hurting. And it'll be interesting to see in the midterms this fall whether or not the American people who have been affected, particularly in the concentrated areas with whom we do the most trade. And those products are becoming more expensive. The tourism isn't coming, or their booze isn't being sold north of the border.
And then people ain't getting jobs over there. And people ain't. We can keep on
The other
going.
thing is, it's very interesting. So they don't want our cars, but you know what they did say we're doing well in that interview? What Hoekstra said? He says, we like the fact that you're coming around on your military spending, your defense spending. $82 million that Champagne put in the budget, increased $82 million. They want $82 billion. They want to applaud us for our military spending because they want us to buy their stuff.
Right.
So they won't buy our cars, but we have to buy their planes.
That's what I was saying. Whatever happened to them jets, man? Well, whatever happened to them jets, man?
Because they want us to buy their stuff.
Right.
So they won't buy our cars, but we have to buy their planes. Right? We won't buy their booze, but that's unfair for some strange reason. So it's, there's no consistency.
Because they're treating it like Canada owes us. Like, nah. But you're gonna do, like Canada owes us. That's how they're kind of treating it. No, they don't.
We won't buy their booze, but that's unfair for some strange reason. So it's, there's no consistency here in the administration's positioning. And I don't think Canadians should read too much into this. I think waiting for the midterms to see really who's got the ear of the American people. Is it this administration, or is it the people who are going to be voting some of these Republicans out?
Well, just on the current military point, Brad, the argument that the ambassadors put forward for the F-35s is that is a North American manufacturing ecosystem, and a mutually beneficial one, which is the very argument they reject for the auto sector, right? So there's an interesting inconsistency there when it's applied. All right, we got
that way of putting it.
Yeah, we got to leave it there.
He couldn't wait. He woke up this morning. This was on his mind last night. He could not wait to get on TV and to just express, just let this off his chest and let his mind speak. I feel you, man. I could tell just a smile on his face. He couldn't wait to go ahead and be on camera and just let it go. Just let it go, man. There's probably so much more he wanted to say, honestly, but I know it's limited time. But he made a great point, honestly. He did. He made a great point. Please share your honest thoughts and opinions in the comment section, guys. Feel free to include anything down below. Educate us, if there was anything that wasn't included throughout this video. And please share your predictions. What do you think is going to happen towards the future? You think we're going to see another video? I better not see another video, bro. I better not see another video of Pete. I don't want to see another video talking about, he is disappointed and he has said this and this once again. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the negativity in the comments and everything. Let's work and let's make something happen. Let's do business. Let's create longevity. Let's get away from the toxicity. Why we got to keep feeding into it every day? How can we possibly grow and move on if we keep feeding into it every single day? You just want to nibble into the drama. Nobody got time for that. You see Canada working right there. What we doing? Nothing, because we plummeted now. Now Canada turn around talking all this about us. Then what? Because what? We ain't got nothing to fend for, and don't. We ain't got nothing to fend for, bro. We losing it all. And look, you see how the tables turn now. Canada's on a rise. It don't matter if it's a slow slope. They still rising. Good for you, Canada. Man, this was a great video. Thank you for the recommendations. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications on. Follow my Twitch for the live streams down below in the description, man. I love y'all. Stay safe. Flood my comment section for more videos for us to react to. And I hope to catch everyone in the next reaction video. I don't want to see, I'm still thinking about it. It got me messed up. I don't want to see another one of these videos because there's going to be a third one. Watch, we're going to see it. It's going to be this reporter guy. One more time, he'll be like, once again, for the third time,